Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Cosmic Girly Cello Chronicles. Do you know, sometimes I actually need to remember the name of my own podcast. Lordy, you'd think I'd know by now, but sometimes I don't even remember my own name, so it's fine. Hello, I'm your host, JM. I am a cellist. I am all kinds of weird and wonderful things. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think, do you know what it is? I've just had my morning coffee, and it's hit really well. Anyway, okay, so today I want to talk about saying no, the art of saying no as a musician. Also, I'm sitting on my squeaky sofa, so apologies if it's a little bit noisy in the background. Anyway, so I am aware that as a musician, one of the things that we musicians love to do is say yes to as many things as possible in order to keep the work coming in and not get burnout, and not get forgotten, and try and avoid burnout and do all the things, and then we get burnout because we've been doing all the things, and then we end up skint because not all the things pay, and then we don't actually remember to eat or drink, or well, actually I don't remember to eat or drink, but yeah, sometimes you've got to say no. Now, sometimes saying no is actually the most terrifying thing ever, because there is often the feeling of, well, if I say no to this thing, then they're never going to ask me to do this thing again. Or if I say no to this thing, this gig, this offer, whatever, if I say no, then I'm going to be forgotten. People aren't going to see me anymore. Nothing else is going to come along. People will think all kinds of things. There's a whole bunch of stuff that can go through our minds when we say no to to certain jobs, to certain gigs, to certain work opportunities. The thing is, sometimes saying no is actually a really great way of saying yes. I'm trying to think of an example for me. So I do some orchestral work, and I will often have local orchestras, like local community orchestras, who are really, really lovely and really, really amazing. There's one really local to me that I absolutely adore. They're really, really lovely. But as of probably about a year ago, I started saying no. It's unpaid, to be fair, it's unpaid. But I always used to think to myself, well, if I say no, then they're going to stop asking me. Or if I say no, then I'm going to forget how to play in an orchestra. Or if I say no, insert multitude of reasons here. But I started saying no. And in saying no, that allowed me to say yes to other things that were perhaps better suited for me. Those other things included paid gigs, opportunities to travel, opportunities to work with new people, opportunities to build new connections. Saying no to some work or to some experiences really takes some understanding of yourself. It took me a while, because I had to really understand what it was that I wanted out of my music career. My career as a musician is very much, well, okay, it feels like this, it looks like that, I get to do this, I don't do those things, I do these other things. Okay, cool, that's what I want to do. And getting clear on that really helped me be able to say no, because it meant that I could say yes to the things that I actually really wanted to do. Now, there is a massive element of trust, self-trust and faith, like all of it, trust and faith in yourself, to know that in saying no to that something, you will continue to do the work behind the scenes, whether it's you will keep practicing, you will keep posting on social media, you will keep going with your blog posts, you will keep updating your website, you will keep doing whatever it is that you need to keep doing, because you trust and know that something else will come along, and that something else is more in alignment with what it is that you want to do. That something else could be anything. That something else could be a teaching opportunity, it could be a performing opportunity, it could be a coaching opportunity, it could be just about anything. But that something else that you get to say yes to could well be more in alignment with what you actually want to say yes to, and a million miles away from what you've just said no to. Now, I received the best piece of advice from a conductor who I absolutely adore. He's absolutely brilliant. I don't know if I'm going to name him. I keep dropping names. I feel really bad dropping names. 'Cause I'm like, do these people want to be named in this stuff? But he said, Jay. So I asked him, actually just before I started saying no. I said, what would you say is the best way to make a decision about whether to do a gig or not, about whether to continue with this thing or not? And he said, well, it comes down to 3 M's for me that I think you should consider, because you should be considering this, Jay. And I'm like, okay, go. And he's like, it's 3 M's: money, mates, music. And at first I was like, oh, God, that's cold. Jesus, that's so brutal. That's so cutthroat. But you know what? He was absolutely right. Mates, money, or music. And he said, ideally, in order to say yes, ideally there needs to be 2 out of those 3 things: money, mates, and or music. So now for me, when it comes to choosing whether to say yes to a gig, excuse me, really something in my throat today. When it comes to saying yes to something or no to something, I am literally doing a quick calculation. Is there enough money in this for me to say yes? Do I love the music enough for me to say yes? Are there enough mates here that I want to work with for me to say yes? If I don't hit 2 out of 3, I'm out. I'm absolutely out. Now, it doesn't have to obviously just be those 3 things. There could be other things that you might want to consider. Like, you can add your own into the mix. You can create your own things. Whatever it is, you can create. I don't know, you could have the three S's. I don't know. Songs, sterling, or what would friends be? That would begin with S. Sisters. I don't know. Soulmates. I don't know. You get the drift. You get my drift. You know what I'm saying. But that really helped me say no to a lot of stuff that just wasn't serving me, because as much as I serve the music community, as much as I serve my clients, there's also the need for something in return. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And it is okay. It really, really, really is okay to say, okay, but what is in it for me? You, as a musician, are definitely offering a service, which is a fantastic service. It's a beautiful service. Like, you are giving your creativity to the world. And that is just such a beautiful thing. Like, that is the thing that lights me up. It makes my soul be like, rah, fire. It's amazing. But you've got to look after yourself as well. You've got to find out what's in it for you. And sometimes that means you have to say no if there's nothing in it for you, if it's not something that works for you. Now, please understand as well, that's not to say that everything you do must be paid. It must be a paid gig. I'm only doing it if it's a paid gig. No, not at all. I do a lot of stuff that is unpaid because involved in it is music and mates. There are people that I really, really, really want to play with, and I really, really love the music. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that gig. Hell yes. That looks amazing. I'd love to be a part of that. But if it's a case of it's just the music that interests me, I need to consider, okay, well, there's no money in this, and the people there are people that I don't get along with, or they're not in a place, they're not a group that I want to be a part of. They aren't, like, mentally speaking, in terms of like a clique. They're not a group that I want to be a part of. They're not a space that I feel accepted and welcomed. They're whatever it is. If the mates isn't there, then I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't serve me either. So it's just the music. I'm going to say no, because I'm considering things like my mental health. I'm considering things like my time. I'm considering things like my energetic state. And I'm considering, okay, if I say yes to this, and it's only got the one bonus, what am I saying no to? What else am I saying no to as a result? What am I missing out on instead that could be a million times better? So saying no as a musician, it may feel really, really hard, and it may feel like you're rocking the boat on purpose, but you may also reap the rewards of saying no. Look at those 3 M's. Maybe consider those 3 M's as your guideposts, and then you can elaborate on them and make them your own. But use those as a guide for whether you say yes or whether you say no. Because saying no can be scary, but it does mean you get to say yes elsewhere to things that really, really serve you, suit you, and light you up. All right? Okay. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to come and work with me closer, you can join the Confident Cello Lounge. It starts at £10 a month. It is my cello community. And it's amazing. The link is in the show notes. If you liked this episode, please do subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you loved it, my God, if you loved it, please leave a comment. That'd be amazing. If you really loved it, might share it. Holy moly, share. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'm really appreciating all the feedback that I get in my DMs and messages and things as well. So thank you so much for listening. I do hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one. See you later. Bye.